Next, I'd like to introduce our guest, Brian Atkins. We've already heard from him, and we're very excited to hear another one of his speeches. And I know he's going to compete soon. So let's get ready for Brian.
It's a beautiful summer day in San Juan, Puerto Rico. And Coach Big Al was out on the football field throwing the football to all of his 12-year-old football players. And he grabbed the football, looked at me and said, "Go along. Red 25, red 25. Hut, hut." And he cocked his arm back and he let that ball sail. Meanwhile, I'm running down the football field as fast as my little 12-year-old legs will carry me. And Big Al throws the ball to me, so I have to dive for it. I catch it, I pull it in, I do a face plant into the grass, but I hang on. And Big Al yells out, "Woohoo, yes!" Yuck. I hate doing face plants into the grass. All of us 12-year-olds hate it. But we do it time and again in practice because we love Big Al and we love it when he cheers us on. Madam Toastmaster, fellow former 12-year-olds, Big Al was a great teacher, leader, and coach, always looking for the potential in all of his football players and trying to bring it out. Big Al was 5'6", my height, at 12 years old. I could look him in the eye, but I couldn't look around him. He was 240 pounds, strong as an ox, and he looked like a big Winnie the Pooh with a whistle. After throwing the football around to us, Big Al would tuck the ball under his arms and begin running around in circles out on the football field. And all of us 12-year-olds would try to tackle him. And he ended up dragging 6 or 7 of us across the field. Big Al was the big brother all of us 12-year-olds dreamed of. And he understood that to get the best out of all of us, he had to make it fun. Well, Big Al brought out the best in all of us 12-year-olds. And it wasn't long before we were heading towards the championships. That game was intense. It was like a big seesaw battle. We'd score, they'd score, we'd score. Who was going to win? With 2 minutes left on the clock, we were ahead by 2 points. I found myself the lone defender between their running back with the ball and our end zone. I started running towards him. He started running towards me. He was huge. I'm out of here. But wait, Brian, you can do this. I went in for the tackle. And I was off in another world. And then I gradually began to come to. Oh no, I let Big Al down. Big Al never yelled at me. He just said, "Atkins, sit this one out." I hung my head as I walked to the bench. And there was my friend Scott. He had no trouble yelling at me. "Brian, dude, is that all you got? What are you doing out there?" I sat down on the bench. I felt so rejected. Am I through? Are they taking me out of the game? But they scored the point after, and Big Al yelled out, "Atkins, get back out there. Let's see what you can do." You want me back out there? And they put me back deep on the return team. And I'm like, what are you, nuts? I've never done that before. But this was my chance to redeem myself. I stood out there shaking. And the other team, upon seeing this, they kicked the ball straight to me and I caught it. And I began to run. I looked over at my right at Michael Yu, the big 6-foot-tall 12-year-old with a look of sheer determination on his face. And my whole team gathered around me, and they protected me. And they opened a hole for me you could have driven a tank through. Now, I wish I could tell you I ran it back for a touchdown, but I didn't. I ran it back to the 10-yard line. And the next play, our team drove it into the end zone and we went on to win. But more importantly for me, I was beginning to believe in myself. And isn't that what a great teacher, leader, or coach does? They look around for opportunities for you to excel, and they push you out there, and you go out there and you get knocked down. They pick you back up and they push you back out there, and you go out there and you get knocked down until you begin to see the potential that is within you and you have a breakthrough. And when a teacher, leader, or coach shows you the potential that is within you, you remember them for the rest of your life. It's been 48 years since I played for Big Al, and it seems like it was yesterday. I will never forget Big Al. He changed my life. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're amongst the few that have a Big Al in your life, I congratulate you. You are truly blessed. And if you're one of those rare individuals who are a Big Al, who are looking around you to bring out the very best in everyone around you, I commend you. Because what the world needs is more Big Als. Madam Toastmaster.
I would like to turn the meeting over to Chris, who will be our general evaluator. Let's welcome Chris.
Thank you. So just specifically as far as the voting, you can send Jaime a private chat message voting for your favorite table topic, and then Jaime will provide a report later on for the most voted one. So at this point, we're going to begin the evaluations, and the first evaluation is going to be for Brian. And because, well, for a couple of reasons. One is Dan pointed out a lot of times when we have speeches that are going to a contest or that we've heard, we do a round robin to kind of mix it up. And it's really a good opportunity to get different tidbits from different perspectives. So let's kickstart that. I'm just going to go in order that I've got my Zoom screens. And so effectively, we're going to go around the Zoom screens, and we're going to start with Ranjita. Ranjita, could you give a bit of feedback for Brian's speech that we heard today?
Sure. I was so engrossed in the speech that I apologize. I forgot to take your time. But I thought this was a marked improvement from the last time you gave the speech, which was already very good. The one thing that I would suggest, for some reason, I felt like there was a lot of gray or, the white background, and maybe you could come forward a little more, kind of reduce the space, the white space behind you. That was the one thing that I just seemed to notice. Or you could kind of pace back and forth. I mean, you were doing that actually with your, the Al throwing the ball and things like that. But somehow if you could reduce the white space, I think that'll be great, so that we're focusing on you. But great speech. I really enjoyed it.
Next, Frank.
Yep. Yeah, so I really liked your speech, Brian. At the beginning, I mean, I could vividly see Big Al, like when you said about that he was carrying people around, I can see it. And also, how you know, and I really liked also the how you said that, you know, that you missed that tackle. And I think I'm not sure if that guy scored when he missed that tackle, you know, but and then how you know, Big Al, you know, gave you another chance to prove yourself. I really like that. I can see, like, the way you did the whole speech. It was just like, I can see everything. And the only thing I would say is probably like kind of like what Ajita said. Maybe we can see you more, because you seem like you're in like in a big room and you're really small. But then when you came up forward to the camera, you know, that made up for it. So that's all I would say. But great speech.
Thanks, Frank. Jaime, you have a couple words for Brian?
Well, Brian, I really like your speech. I really like how you, at least you took me to this environment where you were in the field and how everything happened. So I really like how you put that into perspective and make me think about where you are, narrating all what happened. So thank you very much for that. I really have nothing to say about improvement. I really like all what you said, how you said it, and how you use your body to help us see what was happening back then. But thank you very much.
Deanne, do you have a couple comments for Brian?
I do. Thank you. So Brian, this is the second time that I also have heard this, and I did see an improvement in how you delivered it, for sure. Your words, your message, that was amazing. So I was really focusing more on the physical part of it, your gestures. You know, and one of the things that's really interesting about doing these evaluations is that, you know, evaluations are just opinions. So you take it for what it's worth. Ranita and Frank both talked about your background. I actually like it. I think it's ideal to have a plain background because it does not detract at all from you and your message. And so I think it's great. I loved how when you did the introduction, this seemed different, I think, from the last time, is that former fellow 12-year-olds. That was brilliant. That was great. Tied us all in, kind of brought us back to just a different place in our life, right? All your hand gestures were really good. I love how when you got that last tackle and you're flat on your back, I mean, we could really feel, at least I could really feel, you were carrying me through those moments, that there was no non sequitur type thing. It was direct, it was connected, it was real. There was no ambiguity whatsoever. You know, the diving for it. I did feel like, though, it was a tad overdone as far as throwing the football, because you did that many times. I think the other gestures were great, but maybe throwing the football might have been a tad overdone. And also maybe coming like straight into the camera, I found it a little bit distracting because it was covering your face. So maybe, you know, if you want to do it straight, because that's kind of the intent, or maybe do it slightly off, but below your face. That was really the only thing I could see. Your pauses, your words, your message, you know, everything was just brilliant. That was perfect. I cannot comment on that. I think that's it. Back to you, Mr. General Evaluator.
Thanks, Deanne. I don't know that we're going to have time for everyone to also, out of Joanne, Dan, and Martin, are any of you eager to give Brian some key points? Joanne, all right.
Well, I would reiterate what everyone said about your gestures, just to go quickly. But I'm a retired teacher, and I thought you really hit the mark at the end about what teachers need to do, like to get people to excel. Like, when do you push, and then when do you let them fail and get them out there again? And that really hit home as a teacher. So I wanted to say that to you, along with what everyone else said. Okay. Back to you, Mr. General Evaluator.
Thank you. And I had the opportunity to provide an evaluation for Brian last time. There were some great points today. I don't want to rehash any of those. I'm just going to mention one quick little thing. Big Al is such a central character, next to you as the protagonist in this, that when you mentioned that he looked like Winnie Pooh with a whistle. It's such a great visual, but it's also an opportunity to give a little bit more. So that's an opportunity for a list where you list a couple things. What he looked like being one of them, but what did he sound like, for example? Did he speak like a platoon sergeant? Did he curse like a sailor? There's another sort of dimension that you could bring Al into our lives. What did he think? So for example, he looked like Winnie Pooh with a whistle. He spoke like a drill sergeant, and he wanted nothing more than for us to succeed. So it's just an opportunity to wrap it up with Big Al. He's so important. But a great speech, really enjoyed it again. And as everyone else said, certainly has been improved since the last time we heard. So thank you.